Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from a hotel. Go figure, Andrew on the road. Who would have guessed it? But we are here today to talk about the one and only Arizona Cardinals. Not going to lie, a lot of people will be like, why are you going to only talk about the Arizona Cardinals? Well, guess what? They're my team, bitches. So I'm going to talk about who I want to talk about because this is my channel, and I love my Arizona Cardinals. Here today, my guest, my brother, my friend, Aaron Southwick. How you doing?
Oh, I'd be better if things worked properly and we had Wi-Fi and stuff.
I mean,
just those things.
Your Wi-Fi is guaranteed better than the Wi-Fi I have in Kansas. So, what up? Jack, good to see you, man. Matthew, it's always good to see you. By the way, just so you people know, Matthew will be in Arizona in just about 4 or 5 weeks, and Matthew will actually get to go to an Arizona Cardinals game with us while he is in town. So, all of the good stuff for Matthew. Did Aaron's game yeet itself again? You would have to ask Aaron, my good sir. But today we're here to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Aaron, yes, Vandy, we are doing somewhat of an NFL preview. So there's my favorite bearded Southwick and Andrew. Damn it, George. Damn it.
Love you, George.
And Jack, Olivia is great. She's back home with mom, doing great. Can't complain about anything. She's absolutely adorable, as you would know. But anyway, so guys, let's go ahead and jump into this Arizona Cardinals topic. Aaron, so we were originally going to be doing a full-on first-round draft talk. It was going to be you and me and Prasky, and we were going to sit down and talk about the Arizona Cardinals draft. Then somebody just had to be born,
Yeah, so really annoying stuff,
Talk about. We're going to talk.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, baby being born, whatever. Pancake, good to see you, my friend. So, Aaron, let's talk about this Cardinals draft. First of all, how excited are you for number 1 overall pick, Kyler Murray?
About as excited as someone could be. But I look at it logically that we have a rookie quarterback, so I'm going to temper my expectations, I guess is what I'd say, even though I'm expecting him to throw for 9,000 yards and 800 touchdowns. So
basically, he's going to be the Android QB from
QB 1000
from Detroit,
from the playthrough,
like just 100%.
From the playthrough.
I'm going to go to Arizona with a suitcase full of it, George. George, we obviously cannot do that right now. I am in Kansas. Aaron is in Arizona. That is 4 states away. So yeah, we cannot do that, but we will do it soon. But so guys, Aaron, that was our first overall pick, Kyler Murray. Honestly, it was something that surprised some people. But to me, I don't think it was a surprise. And I actually think that it was the smart pick by the Arizona Cardinals because to me, while Josh Rosen didn't do anything to really hurt himself in his rookie season, he didn't do anything to make you believe in his first season that he could be the guy, that he could be the next big-time quarterback. So to me, I think that the selection of Kyler Murray says a lot about where the future of the Arizona Cardinals is going, and I think that selection is possibly going to be what makes the Cardinals into that next team, with having a guy that is getting a lot of comparisons to Russell Wilson, except having a better arm than Russell Wilson.
I slightly disagree when it comes to Josh Rosen. I'm a big Rosen fan, honestly. So for me, it's it was hard seeing him go. I had high hopes for him. I still think he's going to be really good in the NFL. But I believe that the Cardinals did the right thing when it comes to get your guy. And if Kyler is the guy you see as running your team for the next however many years, you get Cliff Kingsbury, you completely you invest in Cliff Kingsbury entirely. You give him everything. Give him anything he wants. That's why, I mean, you can see We drafted Kyler Murray, number 1. That's the guy. I mean, he wanted him when he was the head coach at Texas Tech. Aaron Wedding Crashers watch along saying, you know it, George. It's coming one day. But then you see, even in the backup quarterback, Brett Hundley, who we got to mentor him. Charles Knopf is still there. Drew Anderson is still there for the quarterbacks. But if you go down the line, I think it shows a lot more in the investment that they're making in Kyler Murray when you look at the wide receivers that we had brought into the team through the draft alone.
Absolutely.
Because if you just look at the receivers that we had going in, it was kind of a shit show. It was Chad Williams, Kevin White, Trent Sherfield, Christian Kirk, and Larry Fitzgerald, and that was it.
Yeah. By the way, Midwest Sports, good to see you. I know that you were actually, I think, part of the last stream that we did talking about Arizona Cardinals. So, yeah, we're talking Kyler Murray right now. But yeah, Aaron, I 100% agree that the draft that we did, on top of the fact that Christian Kirk is still here, I don't think Chad Williams is still here.
Yes, he is.
He is still here?
Yeah,
okay.
Chad Williams, this is our receivers right now. It's I'm just going to go from number 1 down. Basically, it's Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler, Keyshawn Johnson, Trent Sherfield, Kevin White, Chad Williams, Damiere Byrd, and Pharaoh Cooper.
Yes. And Aaron, there have actually been big talks, not only about Andy Isabella, but about Keyshawn Johnson as well in this draft. And that apparently Keyshawn Johnson has really stood out to people in all of the workouts and stuff that he was doing.
Keyshawn, coming out of college, had kind of the Antonio Brown label coming out of college, not this Antonio Brown that we know, the Antonio Brown that came out of Central Michigan. As a guy who played at a small school, basically has the most solid hands you could ever want in a receiver, runs better routes than anyone in the draft, but he doesn't do anything. Like, he doesn't have burner speed. Like, he's not going to beat anyone in a race. He's not going to muscle anyone out. He's not going to out-jump anybody. He's not the tallest. He's not anything like that. But everything he does is very, very good. And that's what was that was the whole thing with Antonio Brown coming out, and that's why he went in the 6th round. That's why Keyshawn Johnson did.
And you're absolutely right on that, Aaron. I mean, Keyshawn Johnson is somebody that I think that can surprise a lot of people. By the way, George, literally dead last year, which is why we wound up with the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And guys, we actually will do a discussion on the differences between the NFL and the Premier League here soon. And Aaron, and I think I'm going to try and get my friend Tyler Dunn on this as well to be able to really give you guys an insight into what it's like in the NFL. Yeah, J Hart, I'm back on the road. I'm on the road basically until next week, which is unfortunate. But it could be worse. It could be worse. It's George. I mean, J Hart. It's pretty nice. It's a pretty decent hotel. I've got a nice refrigerator back here. I got a little stove. Got a little bit of everything back here. But so Aaron, but I look at when we signed Brett Hundley, that was when I was convinced that we were going to be drafting Kyler Murray because of the style that Brett Hundley has played. I know some people were like, "Oh yeah, but he was the guy that was there before Josh Rosen at UCLA." I'm like, "No, that's nothing. Like that doesn't mean anything." Jim, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But yeah, but I think that the drafting of Kyler Murray and then the drafting of Andy Isabella, I think said the most about this Arizona Cardinals draft in terms of what they're trying to do offensively. I think that they really are giving Cliff Kingsbury the reins and saying, hey, institute your system, go do what you're going to do, and get the offense to be successful. Because last year we had one of the worst offenses in the NFL without statistically, we one of the worst offenses in the NFL and possibly in the history of the NFL. It was a very, very rough season last year. And so doing that was massive. Dan, good to see you. Good to see you. But guys, also just so you know I'm kind of getting a little off topic here, but we will be doing a Phoenix Rising preview in about 2 hours. So I'm excited for that as well. So Aaron, the draft overall, I think we drafted a lot of wide receivers, and I think the reason behind that is because we're trying to give Kyler Murray the ability to basically figure out who he's going to click and gel with. Because, like you said, we have 9 wide receivers on the roster now. And honestly, just between Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, and Andy Isabella, that's a terrific 3. So, I mean, what do you think is the goal behind what we're trying to do right now?
Basically, the goal we're trying to, like I was saying, when it comes to Kyler Murray, it's the same sense with Cliff Kingsbury, where it's just a full investment. We're jumping in the deep end. We're not testing the water. We're not dipping our toe in. We're just going for it. And we don't know what's at the bottom of the water right now, but we're about to find out. So when you look at what we've done, we shorted up with some veterans, maybe not the most accomplished in Kevin White or even Pharaoh Cooper, but they both serve purposes. But then you see that we've drafted Hakeem Butler, who, I mean, if you talk about everything Keyshawn Johnson isn't with the physical intangibles, Hakeem Butler is. And then Keyshawn Johnson's just the steady rock that is going to go out there. Andy Isabella is a burner. Christian Kirk is a burner. Pharaoh Cooper, burner. Chad Williams, I mean, we'll see what happens with him. Again, don't really have too many hopes for him.
I think Chad Williams is probably done. I think he'll probably get cut this year. Yeah,
he might. It'd be a sad day for Chad Williams. I'm going to switch my phone angle here, make this easier for myself. Thank you. 10,000 IQ. But it just shows a full investment into what we're doing. And that's kind of the most exciting part. And none of us knows what it's going to look like. It's the air raid offense that we've seen in college that's going to be implemented in the NFL. And I think that's the most exciting thing to look at. Even the addition of Caleb Wilson, who was Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the NFL draft, even he is probably going to make this team. He's listed as a tight end, but he's more of like a wide receiver. I mean, he's smaller than Hakeem Butler, for God's sake. And he's listed as a tight end. So I think he's going to be used in that same sense. Even when you look at the guys that we've already got here, like Ricky Seals-Jones and the addition of Charles Clay, both 2 great receiving tight ends.
Max Williams.
Yeah, and I mean, Max Williams is a better blocker than a receiver, but it's, again, just the additions of these guys, it shows that what we're doing here is basically just telling Cliff Kingsbury, this is your offense, figure it out. And you can get anyone you need, but it needs to work now. Because we didn't really bring in too much in the way of running backs or running back help. I mean, we did address our offensive line quite a bit. But when it just comes to what we're going to do with the air raid offense, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen because if you just look at, in a nutshell, what we have here, like not including like the fringe guys or the guys that are probably going to play more like punt returner, like special team roles, our receiving core went from last year, our number three best receiver was Trent Sherfield.
Yeah, and he's not even going to be on the team this year.
Technically, he was number 2. Christian Kirk would have been number 2, but he got hurt in like week 10, and Trent Sherfield barely passed him and played all year. So that just shows what we've been working with. And Larry Fitzgerald, who I think is going on 95 now, still playing, still kicking. But it's going to be Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler, Keyshawn Johnson. That's just the top 5. And then you even consider like maybe Kevin White shows out and needed a change of scenery. Trent Sherfield's not terrible as a 5 receiver. Pharaoh Cooper, not terrible as a 5 receiver. And even I would include Caleb Wilson into this conversation. You just look at the top 5 we have there, and the upgrade it's almost what the Suns did with their roster. They upgraded just that in the wide receiver room.
Yeah. Well, and Aaron, this is just my opinion. I actually look at the fact that we have so many wide receivers on the team. I think there's potential to keep all the way up to 6 and possibly 7 wide receivers going into the regular season. I really believe that because you look at how many people we brought in, like you said, with Pharaoh Cooper and Kevin White, just those 2 additions in the offseason as free agents. That's big time. And then we drafted 3 wide receivers on top of already having 2 pretty decent name wide receivers here in Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald. Like,
well, yeah, we probably are going to keep.
There's going to be.
Sorry, your audio's lagging on my end, so I didn't mean to cut you off there. But I think you're right when you say we're going to keep 6 to 7 receivers. It would make sense that we would, just for depth purposes. But we also have to look at the original. Who remembers the original Keyshawn Johnson? Yeah, all of us.
The OG Keyshawn. Dan, if you're an NFL fan, you don't forget.
I think his kid plays at U of A. I'm not sure.
I think he does, Aaron.
But you consider Pharaoh Cooper is probably going to make the roster just as a kick returner and a punt returner, so we don't have to have Christian Kirk doing that because he's going to take more of an expanded role in the offense. And then I honestly think Kevin White is probably going to make this team. I don't know about Trent Sherfield. Don't know about Chad Williams. Damiere Byrd's just a body for camp. But then we have to also look at tight ends that we have now because it's Drew Belcher, Charles Clay, Daryl Daniels, Ricky Seals-Jones, Mac Williams, and Caleb Wilson. And Caleb Wilson's probably going to make this team, like I said, more of a receiver than a tight end. Like, he's not going to be a real tight end. He's going to be going out there for 5 wide sets. And that's going to be it.
And then, Aaron, you also consider the fact that Ricky Seals-Jones was with Kyler Murray.
Well, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, Caleb Wilson's going to make it.
How many people have a connection to Kyler Murray? And it's going to increase because our offense was our problem last year. And like Vandy Candy just said, lots of handoffs for Johnson. Listen, I actually think we aren't going to see as many like under Bruce Arians, just traditional handoffs as we did under Bruce Arians. I think we're going to see a lot of Kyler Murray and David Johnson scrambling out together, and then a lot of the read option. I really think that we're going to see a completely different offense than anything we've ever seen in the Arizona Cardinals history. Well, since we've been watching, Aaron, I do not remember a time where we ran the read option because we never had a quarterback that could do it. And it definitely not do it to the extent of what Kyler Murray can do. Kyler Murray is a guy that has the speed to be able to keep up with some of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL. When Michael Vick is handing you out praise and saying that Michael Vick sees a lot of him in you, that's a big, big compliment coming from Michael Vick. So,
yeah, I mean, as a football player.
Yeah, definitely as a football player. Yes, none of the other stuff, none of that. But I look at the person that I think will benefit most from Kyler Murray coming to Arizona and being drafted by Arizona is going to be David Johnson. I think that David Johnson is the guy that will benefit most from Kyler Murray being here. What are your thoughts?
It depends how you look at David Johnson's success. If you look at it in the traditional sense of, is he going to get more rushing yards? No. He will not get more rushing yards. That's just not going to happen. That's impossible. He still says he wants to get 1,000. I think he'll be lucky to get like 700 or 800 rushing yards. Not that we're going to have a bad like run game. It's just we're really probably only going to use the run just to keep teams honest, and that's about it. Other than that, David Johnson, you're going to see, I mean, I think he'll have over 1,000 receiving yards, I think. And I think that's more important for our team than him running for 1,000. Well, so if you look at it in success as a traditional running back, probably not. He won't have the same stats as like Le'Veon Bell. He won't have the same stats as Melvin Gordon or Todd Gurley because we're not going to run the ball like that. At least that's what I think. But again, none of us know what the Kingsbury offense is going to look like. I know there has to be shades of an NFL offense in there. There has to be the touches of that because you can't just throw the ball every single play like college. That doesn't work.
Exactly.
Teams are too good for that. So,
I mean, Aaron, I could see, especially since I think we're realistically at tops going to keep 3 running backs, and I think it's more realistic we're only going to keep 2. I think
running
the
backs,
likelihood of us keeping, let me put it this way, I think the likelihood of us keeping 7 wide receivers and 2 running backs is greater than keeping 3 running backs and 6 wide receivers.
well, I can tell you now, we're keeping Chase Edmonds, we're keeping David Johnson, and I think it's going to be very difficult to get rid of someone like DJ Foster, who great in the return game. He's great in the pass game. Like, he's great as a receiver, like coming out of the backfield. So if David Johnson needs a rest, he's great at that. And TJ Logan, also great as a returner and great coming out of the backfield. So I think it's hard to cut guys like that who do those things so well, because running backs get hurt all the time. So we're never gonna just, like, you're never gonna see an NFL team that only has 2 running backs.
Well, I was just saying, I can see the potential for only keeping 2 is greater than us dropping and keeping only 6 wide receivers. I think there is going to be a position that we're going to see a lack of people at because we're going to keep so many wide receivers.
Well, we're probably going to see a lack of people at the safety position. Safety right now is our thinnest position, outside of Budda Baker, DJ Swearinger, Deontay Thompson, and then recently drafted Jalen Thompson. Tyler Sigler, he's probably gone. Josh Shaw's probably gone. Jonathan Owens. Those 3 guys are just camp bodies. And then Rudy Ford, while he's a talented young player, he's going to be gone. So we're really only going to have 4 safeties. And then when you look at tight ends, we're probably going to keep 3. And I'd say it's Ricky Seals-Jones, Charles Clay, and probably Caleb Wilson and Max Williams, Daryl Daniels, and Drew Belcher all get cut. Actually, I think Drew Belcher's our long snapper, so he won't get cut. But when it comes to depth, you're not going to have 2 running backs. It's not even a possibility. It's not like a greater chance than that. It just won't happen.
Well, and so, Aaron, I think
because running backs get hurt. Every running back gets hurt.
DJ Foster to be played more as a wide receiver, and then basically be like that 3rd running back.
Well, I think that's what I'm saying. We're going to have DJ Foster and probably TJ Logan both on the roster. Whether TJ Logan's practice squad or not, whether he's practice squad or not, we don't know. But DJ Foster is going to make the team because, one, he also has a connection to Kyler Murray. He has a connection with Christian Kirk. He has, it's just stupid. Like, the amount of people who are connected, like you said, it's stupid the amount of people connected to Kyler Murray on our team.
The only person that isn't connected to him is like Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, who apparently needs help learning the offense from Kyler. So there's that. I think the biggest upgrade, though, throughout all of this offseason has been our defense. And it's been small little pickups here and there. There hasn't been like a blockbuster, like, oh my God, they signed this guy on defense.
Besides Jordan Hicks.
Jordan Hicks isn't even like superstar talent. Like, I mean, he's very good, but we haven't really gotten anyone that's like, holy shit, did you hear we got this guy?
Well, and Aaron, real quick, let's finish up talking about the offense, because the last thing I wanted to focus on is the fact that we did bring in J.R. Sweezy, Max Garcia. We brought in quite a few. We've got Marcus Gilbert for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah, everyone.
Our offensive line is also massively improved just from last year.
Yeah, everyone that we've brought in really has a shot to make the team, which is surprising. I don't know if that says we have a bad offensive line or we just have good depth. Through the draft, though, we brought in Corey Cunningham in the 7th, who I think is going to make this team, and he is a very talented tackle. Lamont Galliard, who's probably going to be a backup guard and center combo that we can just basically keep cheaper than having like a Max Garcia or a
I think Max Garcia makes this team, Aaron. I think that Max Garcia is going to be the quintessential backup offensive line.
No, I think Max Garcia is great. I'm just saying he's probably a cheaper option. But even guys like what's his name, Vunovich, I can't remember, Jeremy Vunovich. Like, even guys like him have a real shot. I think our starting offensive line probably goes left to right. Obviously, DJ Humphries, who this is his make or break year, because we have two young guys who are going to be up his ass trying to take his spot in Desmond Harrison and Corey Cunningham. We're going to have J.R. Sweezy or Justin Pugh probably at left. And then I think AQ Shipley takes his starting job back at center, but Mason Cole is really going to push because he started all 16 games last year and did a fantastic job. So Mason Cole is going to push for that starting job at center. I just think AQ Shipley might be the solid rock that he's always praised to be.
I think it's going to be hard to unseat Mason Cole personally, Aaron.
AQ Shipley's already been named the starter.
What's that?
AQ Shipley was already named as the starter.
Well, I think that's more just out of respect. I think that Mason Cole will be very hard to unseat from not being named the starting center going into the season. Mason Cole proved last year that he has the ability to be that guy for the Arizona Cardinals at the center position.
I do not have audio for you right now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This isn't good. You there?
Hello? Can anybody hear me? Am I back? Am I back? Guys, I'm sorry if you can hear me. I apologize. I don't know what's going on. This is what Kansas Wi-Fi is, people. This is how Kansas Wi-Fi is. It's so great. It's so great. Aaron might actually be taking over for my streams while I'm here, and he'll just stream from his computer, and Aaron will just be officially a part of every single video going forward, even if it's Manchester United related. Aaron, can you hear me? Aaron Southwick.
Now I think my internet's pooping out. I can't get my camera on my phone to work.
Well, luckily for me, I don't think that my video is working anyways. Guys, can you actually see me, or is it just my little icon?
Uh-oh.
Okay, I do see that we're back. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Aaron, if we'll just we'll pick up right where we left off, but we'll actually go ahead and we'll wrap it up and just say that the Cardinals. No, you were John Cena.
Oh my God.
That's so perfect. So Aaron, if you're able to get your visuals back, definitely do so. But if not, no big deal. We can still hear you. So everybody's in the chat saying they can hear you.
Oh my God.
So
does it sound okay? Oh no. We lost them, boys. F's in the chat.
I think they have a chance to be. I think we have the ability to be decent. I do think we have the ability to be decent. Yeah, Aaron, you're fine. Aaron, can you hear me?
Sometimes, dude, your internet is just pooping everywhere.
It is pooping everywhere. But Aaron, anyways, let's hopefully just keep rolling on. Let's talk about that defense. Go ahead and start talking about the defense.
All right, let's just try to push through this as quick as we can. The offensive line looks like shit. I'm not excited about it, anything. Defense looks amazing, though. Like I was saying, everything's been a little pickup. It's nothing that's going to blow you away. But if you look at the course of it, we've probably gone from like a C plus from where Steve Wilkes had us to what I would say is like a solid B plus, A minus defense all across the board. And we've really used to our advantage the number one waiver pickup. So with that, we've gotten guys like Robert Alford. We've gotten guys like I just had his name here, but I lost it. Low IQ. Whatever. Another guy.
Who are you? What position are you talking about, Aaron? Terrell Suggs? You talking about Brooks Reed? You talking about
Brooks Reed? But yeah, it's just depth everywhere when you look at our defense now, and that was something that we lacked last year. I think if you just look at it through the eyes of an opposing quarterback, if you have Terrell Suggs and Chandler Jones on either side of you for a full game with Brooks Reed, who has a motor better than anybody in the NFL, who's not going to stop, it's going to be pretty terrifying, especially when you have Jordan Hicks patrolling the middle of the field with Hassan Reddick, who's going back to more of his natural position where he was drafted at so highly. And we tried making him more of like a true inside linebacker when he was more of like a blitzing inside linebacker. So he's going to be going back to that, which I think is great. The middle of our defensive line, it's okay. Like Corey Peters, Rodney Gunter. I'm glad we brought Gunter back. Just a solid dude, like not going to make you mad in any game. And Darius Philon. That was another name I wanted to bring up with the number one waiver because low key, he is one of the better defensive linemen in the NFL. Like he's in the top, I'd say like 70 defensive linemen. And then the additions of Zach Allen and Michael Dogby, who from the draft, who are both just animals. Zach Allen, especially, we got him in the third round. Mark this right now. In 2 years, he'll be a Pro Bowler.
And that's the thing, Aaron, is that you look at what the Cardinals have on defense. If you look up and down what the Cardinals are doing on defense, and honestly, and we've talked about this on previous streams, the fact that Steve Wilkes tried changing the wheel with the Arizona Cardinals defense and taking it from a 3-4 man up across the board defense to a 4-3 zone defense was his biggest fault as a head coach. That was what him doing that cost him his job. That is a guarantee that it cost him his job because it made our defense horrible last season. It was not good. So the depth across the board. I mean, if you look solely at what in terms of like the pre-depth chart is, the fact that it's Corey Peters, Robert Kimdichie, and Rodney Gunter in that three defensive linemen. Then you have linebackers of Chandler Jones, Jordan Hicks, Hassan Reddick, and Terrell Suggs. Then Budda Baker and DJ Swearinger with Rob Alford and Patrick Peterson. That's a hell of a defense right there. That's potentially one of the best defenses in the NFL. It's that good. So you then add in the fact that, like Aaron said, I could see us keeping a very limited amount of safeties in this class here of 20. I guess you'd call 2019 season for this 2019 season, I think we're going to see a very limited amount of safeties kept, but I think we will see five corners kept, maybe 6, because one thing we do have to talk about, Aaron, is Patrick Peterson is suspended for the first 6 games of next season.
Yeah, man, he didn't even do anything wrong. He only took a little bit of steroids. I mean, come on, let him go, man.
Only a little bit of steroids.
Yeah, it wasn't even a lot. Just enough, just enough to get that, just enough to really help out a lot.
Well, Aaron, let's be real. It probably was that John Jones thing where he didn't even actually take it. It was just a tainted supplement.
Yeah, and it was just a picogram. Man, these guys are just screwing them. Patrick Peterson's a great guy. He would never do anything wrong. Anyways, yeah, we're going to have to look at this without him. I'm just going to exclude him from what I'm looking at for the season, because I think whoever we keep, it's going to be hard to say, hey, you're cut because Patrick is back. And I think the guy that makes it, a lot of people would say Brandon Williams because he's got a few years in the NFL. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Dietrich Nichols, who last year's preseason, he was fantastic for us. But going in, he was a practice squad guy. He was probably one of the team favorites through a lot of the wide receivers because they said he's just so tough. He really plays up hard on you. So I'm thinking our starters for the first 6 weeks are probably going to be Robert Alford and Byron Murphy. Personally, I would put Tremaine Brock over Byron Murphy just because I value experience. At least for the first 3-4 games. Give Byron the chance though. But we have a lot of talent throughout the cornerback position, and then you consider Budda Baker as more of a hybrid safety and corner than anything. He could even drop in and cover that nickel spot, so Byron could actually play man coverage. But again, Deontay Thompson, great in pass coverage. Jalen Thompson, fantastic in pass coverage. And DJ Swearinger tries to kill everybody that he sees, so that's a good thing. But you just look at our depth in the secondary, and I think it's nothing that we're worried about particularly. And if anyone good does get cut for any reason from any team, we have first dibs. So That's what we're going to be looking for throughout the preseason is guys, specifically young guys, or on the polar opposite, guys who are in their 33 to 36-year-old cornerbacks who have been solid, nothing special, but just solid, and still think they might have a season in them. You're going to see us working a lot of those guys out.
Absolutely. Well, and Aaron, this is what I've heard directly from the Arizona Cardinals people. Is I've heard that what they're trying to do, and because of Patrick Peterson being suspended for those first 6 games, and like Dan said, it's just simply an agenda against Patrick Peterson. I think that I think that legitimately that Byron Murphy will likely be the number 2 corner opposite of Rob Alford. I think that Rob Alford and Byron Murphy will be the starters because Tremaine Brock in his history has actually been at his best when he plays in the slot as the slot corner. And I think that those three corners combined, while Patrick Peterson is not playing, will actually form a good trio. I think that their abilities suit each other very well. I think that all 3 of them can really fit together. And then the only person that I honestly don't know a lot about yet is Rob Alford. He's had a decent career to this point. But I think that when you talk about the fact that when basically Rob Alford and Byron Murphy will likely be competing for who will be the guy opposite Patrick Peterson when Patrick Peterson comes back. That is realistically what the competition is those 2 guys competing for that spot. And so, Aaron, the other position I want to talk about is the outside linebacker position, because it's a position that a lot of people thought the Cardinals might address in the draft. They wound up addressing through free agency. And now when you talk about the fact that the Cardinals have Chandler Jones, Brooks Reed, Terrell Suggs as 3 outside linebackers, that's a pretty formidable trio to be coming at you for pass rushing. And I genuinely cannot wait to see what Chandler Jones does, having a guy like Terrell Suggs on the opposite side of him going at people. What do you think of our outside linebacker situation?
I think it's fine. I'm not going to say it's like miles ahead of what we've had, but it's good. Like we're not in a bad spot at all, because the way you have to look at it is Terrell Suggs isn't going to be an every down player. He's probably only going to play I know he played 70 something percent of the snaps last year for Baltimore. It's going to go down this year, probably somewhere in the 40 to 50 range. And that's nothing to worry about, because one, Brooks Reed, is good. But we also have to keep into account that we have Cameron Malvo, who is just a beast of a guy, 6'5", 265, and isn't really messing around. He came from Houston. He worked his ass off, has a motor, and that's kind of what you want to care about when it just comes to backup outside linebackers. And Vontarius Dora, who has crushed it for us in preseason last year, and actually played a pretty sizable role throughout the season, because everybody got hurt last year for the Cardinals, apparently. And then we have Pita Taumapeñu, who a lot of people don't really know. And to be honest, I don't know the most about him. What I do know is that he's just one of the classic, puts his nose down, works hard, but he's probably just a camp body, and he'll be cut here pretty soon. But the way you want to look at it is, it doesn't matter that it's really just Chandler Jones, and we lost Marcus Golden. Yeah, I almost said Gilbert. That was our offensive lineman we picked up, and I knew that was wrong. But we have Zach Allen, and if you consider that Zach Allen plays on both sides of the defensive line, in the plays that we do take out Terrell Suggs, we could swap him over to that side and have Hassan Reddick be blitzing behind him. And then you have to deal with Zach Allen or Hassan Reddick, and also Chandler Jones if you want to decide to double team him. So it's not that we have a lot of depth in offensive, or I keep saying offensive, outside linebacker. We have a lot of depth just along the defensive line, and that's what matters, because Darius Philon is incredible. Like I was saying, Robert Kimdichie, I have such high hopes that switching him back to being not the nose tackle anymore, just being a defensive end, if he shows up and does what he's actually capable of, he's going to be a Pro Bowler. It's just plain and simple. He will be a Pro Bowler if he plays the way that he can, that we all know he can.
But he has yet to in his career.
Yeah. And it's so frustrating, I think, for a guy, especially like Zach Allen, who has made his career on being the guy who is not the biggest, not the strongest, not the fastest, works harder than everybody, though, and gets the job done. To see a guy like Robert Kimdichie, that if Zach Allen had half of his tools, he'd be the next J.J. Watt. And Kimdichie just doesn't care. And so if he just shows up and understands that this is his make it or break it year, we're going to have a terrifying defensive line. Well, because you're going to have to deal with Suggs and Kimdichie and Zach Allen and Chandler Jones together.
Yeah. And Aaron, like you said, I mean, I look at this defense, and the thing that I see from top to bottom, from everybody inside of that, is effort. Effort and motor. That is the thing that I think is the theme of this defense, is effort and motor. And when you put people around somebody like Robert Kimdichie, who, like you said, has all the talent in the world, but just hasn't put it together, this is his opportunity to be able to put it together. You have the defense around you. This will be a top 10 defense if everybody stays healthy. I'm willing to put money on that. If everybody stays healthy, we will be a top 10 defense without question. It's just a matter of if we can get a little bit of extra out of people like Kimdichie, because if our defense lives up to its potential, I could see this being on the level of one of the great defenses in the NFL. Like, it's got that kind of potential. You've got terrifying safeties. You've got corners that can cover anybody at any point. You've got linebackers that can get to the quarterback. I could see the potential for this defense leading the team to a close to 500 season. And it will be the defense that would lead us to that point. But we obviously have a lot to come, Aaron. There's a lot to come. There's still a whole preseason to get through. I'm going to be interested to see what happens going into the preseason. And honestly, I'm excited for Matthew that Matthew gets to come to one of the preseason games.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Show him a real sport, you know? What's up? GG, easy.
But anyways, Aaron, I think we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up there. It feels like a good point to do so. But Aaron, give me your final thoughts on everything going on with the Arizona. I guess real quick, we could talk about the special teams and just say that Zane Gonzalez as our kicker is a hell of an upgrade over Phil Dawson. Andy Lee is the definition of consistency as a punter. And then I think it's going to be interesting to see if Farrell Cooper makes this team as the kick returner / punt returner.
Yeah. Special teams coach.
Yeah, simple as. And by the way, guys, I'm sorry that everything is kind of going crazy on my computer. We might not be doing another stream after this, and I will apologize for that. But anyways, I think we wrapped it up well there. Aaron, thank you so much for joining me. I know you've got your Twitch channel up now. Go ahead and talk about it a little bit.
Just twitch.tv/AA gumdrops, just like it is on Twitter. We're doing a lot of playthroughs. We just finished Detroit Become Human. I Became Sad. And we're going to be doing Until Dawn and games like The Last of Us and mixing in games like Apex, Fortnite, maybe some FIFA. We're doing a United rebuild right now for you guys. And Andrew's in chat all the time too, so you could probably catch him in there if I'm live. I'm going to be going live pretty shortly after this, actually, around probably like half an hour from now. I'm going to be going live. So if you guys want to come hang out, I'm going to be playing Until Dawn and getting really scared. So there's that.
Well, it's going to be fun, and I will be joining Aaron. But, guys, I will wrap it up there. I can see just inside of the video here that how bad things are. So you might not see me live again for a little bit, unfortunately. But at least until Aaron will be the one in charge of running the stream. I'll say that. But I really do hope that you guys all have a great night, a great day. Wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, keep doing you, because I love you guys. And you guys are awesome. We'll see you guys a little bit later.